Welcome. So I'm gonna try and project because I'm not using my microphone today. I just wanted to share one of the realities of having chronic illness, being in a position where you're not able to work at a regular job that I just discovered. And that is that I'm on food stamps, which I really am glad to have. They are such a relief. And I receive the maximum food stamps for my state, which is a little less than $200 a month. And last year, I actually did not make enough money to pay taxes. And I have a lawyer who helps me apply for disability right now because after 5 years of hoping that I would be able to get back to work, I'm not able to work at all anymore. And so anyway, it turns out that the story quilts that I don't make very many these days. I don't sell story quilts every month even. And so for tax purposes, it's considered a hobby, and I don't have to report it at all because I'm not really making more money than I spend on supplies per se. And I'm not making any meaningful amount of money, which would be over $800 a month, or over, I believe it's $6,000 total per year. And then, but for food stamps, even if all I did was collect bottles and recycle them for 10 cents a bottle, that counts as being self-employed and having an income that has to be reported to the Department of Human Services for food stamps to decide how much you get in support. And it's been pretty scary just trying to navigate that and do the right thing and still be able to eat. I feel lucky I have, friends and family who always their table is open to me should I need it. But I find it very sad that we live in a country that assumes that the desperately poor people are cheating and not deserving of basic support, like food, or medical care, or housing. That's just sad and wrong. And, the fact that someone who, like me, is chronically ill and has a lot of brain fog and memory challenges and logical processing challenges at times has to keep straight all of these rules and laws and expectations and reporting standards. There's not really people assigned to help me with any of this. I have to do this. And that's pretty sad that, somebody who makes millions of dollars or even $100,000 in a year can afford all of this support and help to not have to pay taxes as much or to understand and follow legal requirements. But somebody who makes less than $6,000 and who has problems with memory, with health, with filling out forms, is expected to do even more of those things in order to receive $200 of food benefits or less per month, and to have that taken away if they're not able to do that, to have so many different standards and requirements to keep track of in order to be a good citizen, and yet we're still considered trash, and uh, it just hurts my heart because I'm making it through. I'm finding my way. I'm bumbling along, but I'm in such better position than so many other people with similar or worse challenges in their lives. It's just sad. It just hurts my heart. And so I know that there are the occasional person out there who cheats the system, but I also know that it's almost impossible to survive without cheating the system that we currently have. Almost. Because the system we currently have expects people to make less than $800 a month total income and be able to live on that. And I think you have to have an even smaller income to get full food stamp benefits, to have help paying for food. Now, I live in a region where a room, a little tiny closet of a room in a house that might be within a couple of blocks of a bus stop, no parking spot, shared bathroom, shared kitchen, can cost you $500, $600, $700 a month. So it's been very empowering also for me to discover that there is a whole community, a growing and beautiful and vibrant community out there of people living in their vans, living in their cars, intentionally living in this way that they can afford on $7 or $6 or $800 a month, which is all that you get at the bottom level for Social Security disability or straight up Social Security, unless you've earned a lot more money in your lifetime, which means you have to have the health, the education, the opportunities, the job market to allow you to do that kind of more well-paid work for longer that would give you a higher rate of Social Security income after you retire. And those things are hard to get in a recession. They're hard to get if your family is already struggling, if you can't stay in school because of your situation at home. It hurts my heart to see how much struggle there is out there. And yet I'm also so grateful to know that there's a way to keep a roof over my head and food in my belly, if it comes down to that, so long as I can still drive a car. So yeah, thanks for listening and being part of this conversation. Back when I had a master's degree and was planning a career as a reference librarian, and I planned that career because most reference librarians still get retirement money from their job. It was a way that I might be able to actually retire one day and still support myself. Even then, even with that sort of planning, even growing up not middle class by any means, poor, but with good opportunities, I had no idea what the majority of Americans were dealing with, how the majority of Americans live. Because most of us are not making enough money to pay rent and eat. and have a vehicle and have student loans, for example, or new clothing. None of those things are easy to get in these situations. Now, in my case, if I get when I get Social Security disability, that will be a step up for me financially. That $735 a month. And I'm not saying that for pity. I don't need pity. I'm going to be okay. Somehow I'm going to be okay. I'm saying that because you need to understand that when you bring people into political office who think that poor people are criminals, who think that we should trade in our cell phones for medical care, who think that $200 a month buys a month worth of groceries, especially if you're on a limited diet medically, those people need to get educated about the realities of my life, of many people's lives, because my reality is not the worst reality out there. It's just one. And so I'm sharing. Again, I don't want pity. I can't actually receive handouts because that would change my financial structure and might jeopardize my chance at getting Social Security disability, at having a stable income. I'm saying this stuff because it's true and because you need to understand. Your vote matters. The politics matter. These policies matter. You know, I've never been to jail. But people who go to jail, what chance in hell do they have to pick a different path and actually make ends meet financially and survive, support their children after they've been in jail? If they have to pay to get out of jail while they're waiting for a trial, even for a petty crime. These are not incidental things. These are life-changing financial burdens that are not just. My burden financially is not just. My benefit financially is not just. It's not livable. And there are millions and millions of people just like me, or in worse situations, or in different situations, but it adds up about the same, all across America. When we only think about ourselves, we're making decisions based on fear. Fear that there is somehow not enough to go around. But you know, there is so much out there. It's just being hoarded by a few people. And if that money got spread out a little bit more, I'd be able to buy groceries 4 weeks out of the month instead of 3. People would be able to keep their children in school. There would be less crime because there would be less true desperation. Thank you for being part of this conversation with me. I look forward to talking with you again soon. Be well.